Hello friends, and welcome to this crochet tutorial where I'm going to show you how to make the frog suit for our potato monster. Okay, if you remember, we did a potato monster a couple of videos back. He comes out quite easily. I'm trying not to shake my camera. And it's a one-piece suit for our potato monster. So, if you're interested in learning how to make our potato monster, stay tuned. Let's get started. So the materials and the tools we're going to use to make our monster, we just need some white. This will be for the center of the eyes. Some green. Here I have a 7mm crochet hook by Clover, tapestry needle, stitch marker, and these are 16mm just solid black safety eyes. We'll also be using a pair of scissors. We're going to start with our safety eyes. So we're going to start off with a magic circle, and to do that we want a short tail. Take it and wrap it around our fingers. Pull up a loop and finish off like a chain. I usually take the tail out of the center. Snug up, not tightly, but snug up that first chain that we just stuck on there to finish the magic loop. We're going to place 8 single crochets in our magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to tighten mine up a little bit because my tail got short. 7, and on the 8th one we're going to change our yarn color. So draw up a loop, bring your yarn forward, and with our green, fold a little over and bring it through the last 2 loops on our hook. Okay, and then snug up that white just a little bit and go over the top of the green. So it's cumbersome, but we can do this. Okay, and then we're going to pinch those last 2 stitches, and with our short tail we're going to snug it up, but we're not going to close it all the way. Okay, you want a little tiny hole, and then take your safety eye and put it through that little hole. Okay, after it's through that little hole, take your tail and finish tightening it up. The reason why we do it this way is because if you put it in after you tighten it up, the hole might be too small and it could take a chance on breaking that yarn. So we're going to pull it through, and then with our green, we want to take our white and green over to our first stitch, which is right here. You want to place 1 single crochet. Okay, our green is a little long here, so let's take our tail and snug it up so that now all our stitches are the same size. Let's place our stitch marker in here. In our next stitch, we're going to do an increase. The increase is 2 single crochets, and this will be our repeat for this row. 1 single crochet and an increase. So our next stitch, 1 single crochet and an increase. One single crochet and an increase. Okay, we should have 2 stitches left. One single crochet and an increase. Okay, enlarge the tail. And let's put our safety backing on. Okay. There we go. I need to use my safety eye jig. Okay, this is a safety eye jig. What you want to do is place the backing in one of these holes that'll fit, and then you want to push down so that it'll go past this first one. I'm going to do it off camera, but you want to line it up, place it over the hole, and then push on the top and go down. I figure since I'm standing up, I might as well show you. So, okay, there we go. Can you see how it's got 2 ridges showing now? That's what we were looking for. I had to stand up. Okay. So with these extra yarns right here, we can go ahead and cut them so they're all the same length. We'll use this as part stuffing. Now it will start to curl up on you, that's okay. Our next row, we're going to do 12 single crochets. That means 1 single crochet per stitch. Oops. Alrighty, so we want to flip it over. Okay. Now, the next row we will do is the last row. And we're going to do 1 single crochet, insert your stitch marker, and then the next one will be a decrease. You want to pick up the front loops of the stitch and onto the second stitch, just those front loops, and this will take it down. These are known as invisible decreases. We have 2 loops on our hook and through there. Okay, can you see how this pulls? That means we want to go to the next one. 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. We're going to do this a total of 4 times. This is the second one. And here's the last one. After we've completed our last one, we want to cut a tail of about 12 to 15 inches. The reason why is, yes, we will sew these eyes on our frog suit when we are completed. So we want to make sure that we have enough yarn to sew it on. But before we do that, we're going to add a little bit of stuffing. So it will help keep its shape. Now, another thing too with these safety eyes, please note that these are not for children who chew on things. We do not want to see them swallow these eyes. Even though they're designed to go on pretty tight, over time things do loosen up. So all I'm saying is if this is for a child who chews on things, I don't recommend this. Okay, and so the last thing we're going to do for this eye is we want to go through the front loops so that we can close this end right here. Okay, so we've stuffed it. Now we're going to pull it tight. I usually just go over one, and this will hold it until we're ready to add it to our suit. Please make a second one, and then we'll start with our suit. So go back to the beginning of the video and let's make a second one. After you've done that, we'll start our suit. So I'll meet you there. Please pause your video. So I got my two eyes done. You ready to start on the suit? Now, even though I have this in a ball, I still want to bring out some extra yarn so that my tension remains the same. So I'm going to bring out some, and I encourage you to do this as we create our little suit here, or in any crochet project that you do. It just helps make things better, because like you probably saw when I was doing on the eye, I kept pulling and pulling. Well, if you notice here, you have freestanding. There you got a little tension from some weight that's pulling it behind. Just some suggestions. All right, let's get started. All right, we're going to start with a short tail. We're going to make a little slip knot. So around the finger, pull the working yarn through that loop, tighten the tail, and then tighten the working yarn onto the hook. And we're going to start with chain of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Using our little bumps in the back, you can see our bumps as compared to the front, which has the V's. We're going to go into the second one. So here's our, we don't count this one on the hook, so here's 1, here's 2. So let's go into that second bump and place 2 single crochet. Remember to mark the first one. So even though I've done 2, I'm going to go back and mark that first one. That helps determine the beginning of the row. And we're going to go down 5 single crochets, 1 per stitch or 1 per chain. So here's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I know many of you have made my potato monster from the video that I've had before. And this is the same thing we did when we started the pants. So we will be starting at the bottom and working our way up. In our last chain, we're going to place 4 single crochet. Remember I showed you the hump on the back and that V-stitch for the front? Well, in the hump, we're going to place 2. 1, 2. Okay, so as you bring your work around, grab your tail, pull it behind you, and then that V, which is right here at the end, we're going to place 2. Make sure your working yarn, here's the knot, goes over on the left side of that knot. That'll help keep your knot out of the way of your work. Another nice thing about it is that you don't have a big hole. All right, so we did the 4. Now we want to go and do 5. 5 single, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and in our last stitch, 2 single crochet, which is our increase. Okay, stretch it out a little. Usually the first row is usually pretty tight. And this is what we have. And we'll go on to our second. So to start off, we're going to place 2 in our first stitch of the last row. Here's our first one. Let's go ahead and mark that. And our second one. In our next stitch, 2 single crochet. One for each of the next 5 stitches. Okay, let's see, it's 3, 4, and 5. Over the next 4 stitches, we're going to do an increase, which is 2 per stitch. I had to get more yarn. Okay, so here's 2 in that one, 2 in the second one, 2 in the third one, and 2 in the fourth one. All right, and then 1 over the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you'll notice that we have 2 stitches left. We're going to do 2 increases. Here's 1, and here's 2. Okay, so that completes our second row. Moving on to our third row. This row we will add holes for our feet. So the first one is 1 single crochet. In the next 2 stitches, an increase for each one of those. Here's our first increase. Here's our second. All right, so this is where we're going to have our hole opening. So let's chain 3. Skip this next stitch, and into the next stitch, 1 single crochet. One, 2, 3, 4 more single crochet for a total of 5 in this section. and 5. Let's chain 3. This makes for the other side. Skip this next stitch, and in the next stitch an increase. So 1, 2, in the next stitch an increase, seven single crochets, okay. In our next stitch, 1 increase, so 2 in that stitch, and then we should have 6 stitches left for 6 single crochet. Okay, stretch it out just a little bit. So here's our 2 hole openings for the front of our pants. Alright, let's place our first single crochet. There's 1. We're going to do 5 up to the chain 3. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we will not go into the individual chains. We will be adding 3 single crochet over the chain. To go over the chain, you go through the hole, pull up a loop. Here's 1. We completed our first single crochet. Let's do our second one and our third one. Okay, pull it back just a little bit, because you'll see this is our next single crochet with that little line next to it. This is where we want to insert our hook, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we did 5, 3 on the chain, 5. Now we're going to do 3 on the chain again. $19. Well, let's get started first. Here's our first chain. See that little line and our V? So we're going to start there for 19 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to bore you with 19, so continue on until we get to our stitch marker. Please pause your video. The next 4 rows will be single crochet all the way around. There is 35 single crochets, so do this for 4 rows. Please pause your video. After completing those 4 rows, we want to get out our potato monster, and we want to make sure that he fits like he's supposed to. So let's pull his legs down in there, and you can see how we can push them through those little holes. And then slide his pants on up. Fits nicely, doesn't it? So let's take them off. and continue on. Now the concept of this is to try and be no-sew. So we're going to do something a little different here. Take out your stitch marker, but bring it down so that way you know what stitch you started on. In the back loop, we want to do a slip stitch. So go through that back loop, draw up a loop, and continue that loop through the loop on your hook. Okay, so we did one. We want to do 4 more. Okay, let's make sure that we are on the 5th one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we can take our stitch marker out, chain 1, and turn our work. Now we're going to be using the front loops, but it's also known as the back loops. And to make sure that we get the right one, we want to count over those loops. So you see where the stitch stops right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's number 5. So place a single crochet in that front loop. We're going to do those 5. Here's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and since those are single crochets, they're a little bit higher than these slip stitches, but we're not going to be using those. So let's go up to our single crochet, which is this stitch right here, and we're going to do our single crochet. $20. So we did 1. We want to do 20. When you count 20, stop and I'll meet you there. At the end of the row, chain 1 and turn your work. 25, chain 1, 25 single crochets on each row. So we're going to 25 single crochets, chain 1, turn 25. Please do that and I'll meet you there. Please pause your video. Okay, let's move on to our next row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. In the first stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 3, skip 2 stitches into the third, 1 single crochet. We're going to have a total of 4, going over a total of 4 stitches. So we did 1, 2, 3, and 4. In our next stitch, we're going to do the invisible decrease, picking up the front loops of the next 2 stitches. 7 single crochet, decrease, four single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, skip the next 2 stitches in the very last stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 1, and turn. And this is what we have so far. Alright, moving on to our next row. We want to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and going over our chain we want to do 3 single crochets. Okay, remember our first stitch is, okay, this is the back side of the stitch, so it's going to be on the left side of the post. So we're going to do 4 single crochet, okay, let's see what I got here. 1, 2, 3, one more, okay, and decrease, five single crochet, decrease, 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, three single crochet over the chain 3, and 1 single crochet in that last row. Chain 1 and turn your work. You can see how we got the holes here. "23 single crochets across, and when you get to the end of the row, please wait, and we will move on to the hat portion of our little suit. Please pause your video. Chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to come over here to the other side and chain 1. Single crochet in that first stitch. Make sure that your chain is not twisted. Okay, and in that first single crochet that we did past the chain, I would like for you to insert your stitch marker. This will be the beginning of our new rows. Alright, so continuing around, we're going to place 1 single crochet in every stitch, and when you get to the chain, you want to pull the V part down and place 1 single crochet for a total of 30 single crochets on this row. So I'm going to show you how to do the chain. Okay, insert your hook right here in the front of that V, go behind, and you'll be picking up 2 parts of the chain. Draw up a loop. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's number 7. Okay, so here's the beginning of the hat, and let me show you. Okay, here's the beginning of his hat. Alright, right, so for our next row, we're going to do the decreasing. So here's our first, and this is going to be a repeat sequence. So we have 1, 2, 3, and decrease. Okay, so this will be our sequence repeat for this row. 1, 2, 3, and the invisible decrease. All right, continue on until we meet at the stitch marker, and I'll meet you there. Please pause your video. All right, moving on. I think you already know what this is going to be. We're going to do 2 single crochet and a decrease. So 1, 2, and decrease. All right, this will be our repeat sequence all the way around. I'll meet you at the stitch marker. Please pause your video. This next row, before our last row, will be 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. And don't do like I did and forget to put your stitch marker back in. So go back to that first single crochet. So this row, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the stitch marker again. Please pause your video. And for our last row, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 decrease, just like we did before. We do not want to close off the top because the top of the potato monster's hair will be coming through the opening up here. So 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. Continue that, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. And we have created a frog suit. So let's leave a little tail, finish off our work. And go and get our needle, and we're going to weave in this end. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around to kind of help reinforce the top of the hole. I do not want to pull it tight. I want to pull it so that it still has the nice size hole opening. And then let's go on to the inside. Make sure we pull it all the way through. Don't pull it too tight. And let's make a little knot on the inside. We'll go through the back of one of these stitches here. Okay, and I like to weave the last little bit of tails in between the stitches. Kind of helps bury it. Okay, we can cut it off. So are you ready to sew on your eyes? The placement of these eyes will go right here above the opening. One here and one here. Whoops, a little bit out of camera range, right there. Now, what I like to do when doing this, I want to place it exactly the way I want it to be shown. Okay, so I'm going to bring the eyes out, and I'm going to go through 2 stitches here in the back. So 2 stitches. Okay, and then roll that eye around so that you can pull 2 stitches here on the other side. Now I'm going to go up a row. I'm going to go through 2 more stitches. So that way it won't roll around and look all googly. Okay, so here's 1, 2. And over here, 1 and 2. And I'm going to go through this one twice. And then finish it off on the inside, as I just showed you how we finished off our center hole. Go ahead and sew on both of your eyes, and then we will go ahead and put it onto our little potato monster. Hello there, Ribbit, Ribbit. You ready to squeeze your monster in there? Oh, please, put on my froggy suit. Yay! I know, I'm crazy. Let me pull the camera lens out a little. I guess I should have known it was out already. All right, so this is how we do it. We stick our feet in there, place our fingers up in the hole, pull out a foot. Yeah, you're going to see that camera knocking around. You got to remember, my GoPro is only about 6 inches from my job, maybe 9 at this point. But it gives me the best view when recording. I don't have to have a camera and everything. Okay, so our arms go into the hole. Our head goes over the little hairy part here. Now remember, the first time you do it, it's going to be kind of tight. But as it gets taken on and off and on and off, it will loosen up some. And here we go. Yeah, it's our potato monster. Here, let me get a better view for you. There we go. Ribbit, Ribbit. What do you think? You think he's cute? I think he's cute. And I think he's happy. It's not really a Halloween outfit, but sometimes even monsters like to dress up. And he still has that big smile. So, I hope you enjoyed our little crochet tutorial on how to make our froggy suit. Kind of think of it as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Well, here's a potato monster in frog clothing. Ribbit, Ribbit. So, till next time, bye-bye. And I really hope you enjoyed this one. I had fun. Ribbit, 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 Ribbit. Hi there, friends. I want you to come join my friend Garnet, and she's going to show you how she made me a frog suit. Yeah, I'm Potato Monster. You know, the one she created in a couple of videos back. So, I want you to come and join me. Yeah. And I want you to make your potato monster a frog suit too. Ribbit, Ribbit, Ribbit.